Now let's take a look at multiplication of fractions. We're going to be looking at questions 29 through 34. Okay, 29 through 34. First of all, my fractions, when I multiply, my fractions can only have a number in the top and a number at the bottom, not a number in front of it. So only a number on the top and a number at the bottom. So looking at my first fraction, I have to work something out. For the bottom, I'm still going to keep the 5. Like I said, my focus right now, it's on my first fraction. Still going to keep the 5 at the bottom. But for the top, I'm going to call this 13. Okay, what I did is I multiply these two. And so 2 times 5 is 10. And then I added to the top. So that's why I have a 13 over 5. Okay. And then I have a negative sign, right? And then this is going to be multiplied by a negative 9 over 8. Okay. Now, let me try to simplify if possible. What I mean with simplify is I'm going to choose a number from the top, a number from the bottom. It could be from the same fraction. It could be from different fractions. It doesn't matter. Just a number from the top, a number from the bottom, and I'll divide them by the same thing to make them smaller. Unfortunately, in this case, I cannot. All right, so now I'm just going to multiply straight. It's going to give me just one fraction. 13 times 9. Remember, we learned how to multiply. In this case, let me go a 2 by 1. 13 times 9. I know 1 times 9. 3 times 9. So this gives me 117. Now 5 times 8 is 40. Sign-wise, negative times a negative, it's positive. All right, so I have 117 over 40. Now, there's a problem. We cannot have the big number on top. So I'm going to divide. I wonder how many 40s go into 117. Then I want to say 2. All right, because 2 times 40 is 80. When I subtract this, that gives me 37. My remainder, this is what I call remainder, has to be smaller than this number, which it is, right? 37 is less than 40. So now my answer is going to be 2/37 over 40. That's my answer, 2/37 over 40. Now, how am I going to type this? Okay, so let's talk about the typing. 2, this is the number 2, right? The number in front of it. Let me emphasize there is a space. You don't have to do the underbar, you just do a space. So there's 2 space 37 backslash 40. All right. So this is how your answer should look like, 2/37 over 40. Again, let me emphasize there's a space in between, because otherwise, if you don't put the space, it's going to look like 237 over 40. All right, let's take a look at number 30 now. My first fraction, I'll keep a 3 at the bottom. For the top, remember, I got to multiply this 2. 5 times 3 is 15. Add it to the top. So 17 times a negative 4 over 5. Remember, my number should only have a number on the top and a number at the bottom. Okay. Let me multiply straight. 17 times 4, that's 68. 3 times 5, that's 15. And a negative sign, right? Positive times a negative gives me a negative. Now, how many times does 15 go into 68? I know 15 times 4 is 60. So I'm going to say, all right, how many times does 15 go into 68? It goes in right now 4 times, because 15 plus 15 is 30, plus 15 is 45, plus 15 is 60. My remainder is 8. So it's going to be 8 over 15. There's my answer, -4 and 8 over 15. But the way I'm going to type it, -4, there's a space, and 8 \15. Don't forget the space between the numbered and the fraction. Take a look at number 31. I have to have everything as a fraction. So let me write this as a -2 over 1. I need to have it as a fraction. So notice I put it over 1 times a -3 over 2. Now this one I can simplify. Now simplifying means I'm going to choose a number from the top, a number from the bottom, and I'm going to divide them by the same thing. I'm going to choose these numbers. Let me divide each by 2. So this is 1, this is 1. Now I'm going to multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative times a negative is positive. So 3 over 1. Anything over 1 is not a fraction anymore. So my answer is just 3. Take a look at question number 32. Let me write this as a -5 over 2. Remember the way I came out with the 5, because I multiplied 2 times 2 and added to the 1. So it's a -5 over 2 times a -3 over 2. I cannot simplify, right? Simplify means I choose a number from the top, a number from the bottom, dividing by the same thing. I cannot. When I multiply straight across, 5 times 3, 2 times 2, it gives me 15 over 4. Sign-wise, negative times a negative is positive. So positive 15 over 4. All right, let me see. I cannot have the big number on the top. How many times does 4 go into 15? It goes in 3 times, because 3 times 4 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. So based on this 3 and this 4, I'm going to make a fraction, 3 over 4. So the way I'm going to type this will be 3 and 3 over 4. Don't forget a space in between the whole number and the fraction. All right, let's take a look at number 33 now. I have a -3 over 2 times 1 over 2. When I multiply straight across, I have 3 over 4, right? 3 times 1, 2 times 2. Sign-wise, I have a negative sign, so it's a -3 over 4. My big number's on top, on the bottom, so I'm good. My answer should be -3 over 4. Now, my last example, let's see. I'm going to go -4 over 3 times 3 over 2. Now, a couple simplifications. Let me divide each by 3. Remember, I'm choosing a number from the top, a number from the bottom. Let me divide each by 3. So 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. Then let me also simplify this 4 and 2. Let me divide each by 2. Now let me multiply straight. On the top, I have 2 times 1. At the bottom, I have 1 times 1. And then I have one negative sign, so it's a -2 over 1. Couple things. My negative sign is a negative sign, so just negative. 2 over 1, right? Anything over 1 is not a fraction anymore. So my answer should be -2.